Continuing from the last session, this time I'll be printing and painting a sculpted model of my pet cat, which I created using AI-generated data as the base mesh. I originally planned to record the painting process on video, but the footage didn't turn out well, so instead I'll show you the finished version with some images at the end. Let's begin preparing the 3D printing data. For slicing, I'll be using a slicer software called Lychee Slicer. When preparing a model for 3D printing, you need to add supports to help reinforce the sculpted data during the print. For this project, I'm using a 3D printer from Elegoo. In order to print with an Elegoo machine, the file needs to be exported in .goo format. First, I slightly lift the model off the build plate and tilt it at an angle to reduce stress on both the supports and the printer. Once I've positioned the model, I go ahead and place the supports like this. Since the model isn't very large, medium-sized supports will be enough. Before adding supports, I hollow out the model. This helps reduce both weight and resin usage. When you use the hollowing function, the hollowed area is shown with yellow diagonal lines, which makes it easy to see. I then add holes called drainage holes in those areas so the resin can flow out. Once the model is hollowed, I start placing the supports. Because I'm not printing this at a large scale, I'm using a mix of light and medium supports, spaced evenly. As a general tip, use thicker supports in areas that are likely to bear more weight, and thinner supports in places where light reinforcement is enough. After finishing the supports on the outside, I add internal supports to the hollowed out sections as well. Since these internal supports don't need to be removed, I make their tips thicker for extra stability. Next, I add bracing to the supports to make sure they don't come loose during printing. Finally, we'll add a base called a raft to help secure the model and prevent it from coming off the platform. With all the supports in place, I export the file as a .goo file. For this print, I used a water-washable resin, and here's the printed and cleaned figure. The body was almost entirely left as is from the AI-generated data. Once printed, the model has a nice solid volume and looks very three-dimensional. I'm quite happy with the result. Here is the painted version. I used Vallejo water-based paints and gave it a semi-realistic finish. I hope this video gives you some ideas and inspiration for your own creative projects. I'll be uploading more detailed examples in the future, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for your support.